Hello everyone, welcome back to chapter 5. So in previous chapter we explore all the major compute services in Azure. We also looked the real-time examples to understand how these services actually work in the background. So now in this chapter we are going to take a deeper dive into one of the most foundational compute service, that is Azure Virtual Machines. So in that we will first understand what a virtual machine is and how virtualization technology works behind the scenes. Then we will move into a hands-on part where we will learn how to create virtual machines in Azure step by step, understand the importance of resource group and how to create them, explore different pricing models and what to keep in mind while choosing them. By the end of this chapter, you will have a clear understanding of what virtual machines are, how to deploy them effectively on Azure. So before we jump into the actual implementation, let's first understand the concept of virtualization, which is the core technology behind the virtual machines. So imagine you have a physical server, a big powerful machine. On that machine, you install one operating system, and inside that, you run multiple applications. Now, here is the problem. All these applications are sharing the same file system, same operating system, same ports and configurations. So because of this environment, applications may conflict with each other. One app might crash another, or resource usage could become unpredictable. This is where virtualizations come in. Instead of running all apps in one operating system, we install virtualization software, often called hypervisor. On the physical server, this hypervisor allows you to create multiple virtual machines on the top of that single physical system. Each virtual machine can act like an independent computer. It has its own operating system, file system, server, ports, and configurations. So now you can run different applications in different virtual machines, each isolated from other. No more conflicts and better resource control, security, and scalability. That is the power of virtualization, using one physical machine to run multiple isolated virtual machines. So now that we have understood what virtualization is, let's dive deeper into what a virtual machine actually is, especially in the context of Microsoft Azure. So Microsoft Azure provides virtual machine service that allow you to run your applications and isolated, scalable, and secure environment without managing a physical hardware. Azure offers a marketplace that includes a wide range of pre-built images like Windows Server, Ubuntu, or Oracle Linux, and many more. These images are ready to use template which you can select and use quickly to create virtual machines. Once your virtual machine is created, you can host and deploy your application on it. These apps will accessible to users over the internet or private network depending upon your configurations. But Azure virtual machines aren't limited to just pre-built images. You can also customize your own system, set up the operating system, install specific services, and configure the environment based on your need. Once setup is done, you can create an image of your configured VM. This image can then be used by your team or developer to quickly spin up multiple virtual machines what the exact same configuration, ensuring the consistency and saving setup time. So in short, virtual machines give you the flexibility to either use Microsoft predefined images or and create and manage your own, making them ideal for wide range of scenarios, from simple web hosting to running enterprise grade applications. So now it's time for the most exciting part, that is demonstration. Let's head over the Azure portal and create our first virtual machine step by step. So in that, what we'll do, we'll create virtual machines on Azure. Once it is ready, we will SSH into a virtual machine and set it up. Then we'll create a small React app on that virtual machines, and finally we'll learn how to access these apps from our local system and over the internet by configuring them required network settings. So this hands-on part will help you to understand how virtual machines work in the real world and how you can use them to host your own applications. So let's get started and deploy our first app on Azure Virtual Machine. So once you log into the Azure portal, you will be navigating to this dashboard page or the landing page of Azure portal, where you will see the list of services that Azure provides. So in that you are seeing this virtual machines, cost management, and many more. So if you want to search any other services, you can directly search or do the global search, and accordingly all the services will be populated, and then you can select. So let's click on these virtual machines. Once we click, it will be opening a new window where you can see the create virtual machine option is there. So let's click on the create virtual machine and select the option that is virtual machine. So once you click, it will be navigating to this create virtual machine window, and in that you will see there are a couple of tabs which is appeared on the UI. So now let's start with this project detail, adding the project detail. On the right hand side, the estimated monthly cost will be auto populated. You can hide them or you can expand them and see what are the charges or what is the estimated monthly cost. So currently I'm using this pay as you go subscription, so it is auto populated, but if you are using the free trial, this free trial subscription will be auto populated. So now let's create a resource group. Any service in Azure, you need to create the resource group, that is mandatory. So let's create a resource group, and let's give the name that is TA VM demo, and then let's click on OK, and then let's give the virtual machines name. Then let's do TAVM. Then it will be validating, and once validation is done, you will see the green tick which is appear on the right corner of this input. So now let's select the region. So as per your need, you can select the region, but I'm using this South India as region. And then availability option, that is I'll use the no infrastructure redundancy required, but in your case you can change. So currently I'm doing this for the demo purpose, so I'll mostly use the default setting as is, but in your case you can change as per the requirement. Then the security type, trusted launch virtual machine, and then the image. So you can click on the see all images, and accordingly you can select the images, but mostly this Ubuntu server 22.04, it's preferred one, so I'll keep this Ubuntu server image. And then on the VM architecture side, let's select this radio, and then let's select the size. So in that you can click on this all sizes, and accordingly you can select the size, but in my case will use this size, that is VM size B1S, and then CPU is 1, then RAM is 1 GB, and then the pricing is to populated. So let's select this and then click on the select button. It will be selecting and adding on this size option. Then on the administrator account part, there are two options. So either you can use SSH public key or password. So I'll use this password, and then I'll give the name, that is TA admin, and enter the password, and then confirm password. And then in the public inbound ports, so once we launch our website, it will be we have to add the inbound rules to that port. So currently we'll use this SSH and this HTTP port that will be allowed. So we'll select this, and then let's click on the next. It will be navigating to the disk tab, where we will not change any settings, so we'll keep the default setting as is. So let's click on the networking. So once we click on networking, it will be created the virtual network, so it will automatically create it or map this TA VM VNet. But if you want, you can create a new and add the specific details, but I will not. I will keep the default virtual network as is. And then the subnet, then you can use this subnet, and then public IP it will be. And we have already added the select inbound ports, that is HTTP, AT, and SSH. Then let's click on this checkbox, that is delete public IP and NIC when VM is deleted. So let's click this checkbox. So what happens once we delete the virtual machines, it will be automatically deleting its public IPs and all the configurations. So we don't need to go manually and delete. Then let's go to the management tab. So here we don't need to change anything. So if you want to set up any monitoring things, then you can add and enable those, but currently I'm not. And then let's click on review plus create. It will validate all the details that we entered, and once the validation is passed, then we can proceed to create virtual machine. So now it is currently validating the details that we enter, that is the region that we selected, the image that we selected, and the size that we choose. And if you see, it is still validating. You can see this running final validation. So now validation is passed. So now you can cross-validate the details, that subscription, that is pay-as-you-go, resource group that we have added, the virtual machine name, the region, and all the details. So now let's quickly click on this create, and then it will start the virtual machine creation process. It will take a minute to complete the process, and then you can see the virtual machines overview. So now you can see the initialization deployment is started, submitting the deployment, and then now deployment is in progress, and you will get all the details while creating the VM or creating the virtual machines. So now it is in progress. So now our deployment is completed. So let's click on go to resource, and it will be navigating to a overview page of our virtual machine. So in that you will see the essential information, that is the resource group, that is TA VM demo that we have added. The status is running, the location, that is South India, and the subscription that we added. So the subscription that we currently using, then the public IP of our virtual machine and the virtual network. So now let's connect to our created virtual machine. So let's click on this connect option. It will be navigating to the connect window. Here there are a couple of options you can use. The recommended one is you can either use SSH using Azure CLI or native SSH. So in that I'll use this command prompt, and I'll try to access this. So in that I'll use this, then it will ask for, you want to connect? I will yes. I will open this on full screen, then enter the password. So enter the password that we entered or added while creating the virtual machines. And once the password is matched, then you will be navigating to, or you will be connected to your virtual machine. So the name that we added, that is TA admin, and TA VM, that is our virtual machine name. So let's clear the terminal. Now let's set up the virtual machine. So in that, as I said, I will create a React app, and we'll try to access this created React app on over the internet. So let's try to do the configuration. So let's in that first install the Node.js. So I will use the Node version, that is 20 or latest. So it will start the installation of Node.js. Clear the terminal, and let's do node-v, and our node version that is installed, that is 20.19.3. So now let's create a React project. So I have already copied the command to create React boilerplate. So let's click on enter. It will start installing the React project. So it will take some time to initialize or set up the React project. So React app initialization is done. So now let's start our React app. So let's do npm run dev, and it will start the hosting. And our app is running, and it is running on this 5173 port. So for that, we have to inbound this or allow this port access to our virtual machines while accessing with public IP. So now again, let's go back to our Azure portal. So in that, let's go on the network setting and add this inbound rule, because our app is running on 5173 port. So if you scroll down, once you click on this network setting, it will open a new window where network related essential details are present, and the rules will be populated over here. And in that, you can see while creating the virtual machines, we have added the ports that should be allowed on port number 22 and 80, but Now our app is running on 5173 port number. So now let's click on this create port rule. So it will show two options. So one is inbound port rule and second one is outbound port rule. So let's click on this inbound port rule, and in that let's keep the source as any, destination is any. You can customize as per your requirement, and the port range that we have to add it, that is 5173. We have to allow this port range while accessing this React app. And then the priority is same, we don't need to change anything. Protocol is any, we can change that TCP, but in our case we are doing this for, we don't want to add any restrictions, so let's keep the protocol as any, and then let's click on add. It is creating the security rules. Once the rule is added, then it will be listed in the rule list, so you can see allow any custom 5173 inbound rule. So again, go back to our overview options. So now let's copy the public IP and let's try to access our app over the internet. So let's do http colon, and then let's paste the public IP and let's add this 5173 port number and let's click on enter, and you will see our React app is accessible over the internet. So that's all for this chapter. So this is how you can create virtual machines in Azure and host your applications and access them over the internet. So let's quickly recap what we have covered in this chapter. We started by understanding what virtualization is and how it works behind the scenes. Then we explore what is virtual machines and how Azure provides both pre-built images and the flexibility to create own custom virtual images. After that, we jump into the Azure portal where we saw the dashboard. Then we started creating the virtual machines. In that, we saw the what is resource group and how to create the resource group. And then we configured and launched our virtual machines. Once the virtual machine was up and running, then we on that virtual machines we created a React app and then hosted it on VM or virtual machines, making it accessible over the internet. So that's wrap up everything you need to get started with Azure Virtual Machines. So if you found this video very helpful, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to support the channel. And as I always say, keep learning, happy coding, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Until then, have a great day.